Jayson, what stood out about what you guys need to do better going back and watching the film, especially to kind of attack their defense and some of the switching that they're doing there?
Yeah, I thought we were, too much one-on-one. We got to move bodies. We got to move the ball. Multiple guys got to, touch the ball. We were just too stagnant, and that's not the way we play. So we got to be better tomorrow.
You've gone up against Joe Mazzulla a handful of times. What's that coaching matchup like? What are some of the tendencies and things you just kind of notice from his coaching style that, you're going to have to match up against in this series?
Unfortunately, we're not playing. So I don't know how to answer that question. I'm taller. I would post him up, but he'd probably be more physical. He's one of the best coaches in this league. He's gotten his teams to the finals. They played at a high rate. He understands his group. And so when you talk about Joe, he's done an incredible job. And it's not easy, especially when you're favored or supposed to, be somewhere. It puts his group plays at a high level. His group plays hard, and he's one of the best coaches in the league. So for that, we got our work cut out as a coaching staff. We got to be better.
Tim, over here.
Jayson, going back and looking at Kyrie's shots, what did you think of the shots he was able to get? And, you're talking about needing to move the ball more. How can you get him the ball in more advantageous situations?
Yeah, he got great looks. Unfortunately, our two quarterbacks had turnovers that normally, don't happen. So give credit to Boston. But we believe that the shots that he got in Game 1 were great looks. They just didn't go down.
Jayson Dewey Scruggs here. In Game 2s, you guys have won them. What adjustments have you been able to make in the past that have allowed you guys to take a Game 1 loss, for instance, and then get a Game 2?
Well, I think there's no panic with this group. We don't, we didn't play well in Game 1. Give credit to Boston, they did. But it's a series, and we don't just look or capitalize on just one game. We've lost Game 1 a lot of times, and we've responded. So we believe that we can respond to Game 2, and we just try to take it one game at a time. And so we didn't have a really good first quarter there. At the end of the first, put us down, but the guys kept fighting. We found a way to get it to 8. It was very similar to the way the playoffs have started for us with the Clippers. We didn't play well. But we got it, we cut that 30-point lead down and made a game of it. But we responded in Game 2 on the road. And so hopefully we can do the same thing here in Boston.
On your right, Michael in second row.
Michael Pina, The Ringer. Jayson, what are some of the problems that Jayson Tatum can create on both ends, and what did you think of your defensive execution against him in Game 1?
Yeah, Jayson, he's one of the best offensive players in this league, and understanding that he puts a lot of pressure behind the three, behind the line, and then also being able to get, to the rim, So he's not one that just settles. So we got to, again, try to keep him, from getting to the rim, keeping him off the free throw line, and then giving him wide open threes. And so that's not easy. It's easier said than done, but again, we just got to make it tough on him. And then on the defensive end, he uses his length. He's strong, and he's not one to give in. So we got to find other ways to score.
Joe, front right.
Joe Varden, The Athletic. You knew that KP was going to play Game 1. Were you surprised that he came off the bench? And is there an extra or unique challenge of having to guard or worry about him coming in as a second unit guy?
Yeah, we knew that he was going to play, and he played well. He played well coming off the bench. And so he's played well starting or as he showed coming off the bench. So we got to make it tougher on him. When he starts to, get going, he can shoot it from half court, with range. And so we got to be able to take some of those threes away. And then on the other end, we got to make him work. But we also got to account for, being able to, when you go to the basket, he's going to be there, and so you got to count that he's got a good chance of blocking your shot. So we got to take advantage of his overhelp at times.
Jeff over here on the left, fourth row.
Jeff Zogett, USA Today. Jayson, you've mentioned that you, Kyrie, and Luka, shared a similar position. I wondered if you three are able to have, conversations, just amongst you three to the team, given what you guys can see or, did see on the basketball court. What are those conversations like?
Yeah, I think we happen to play the same position. Some are a little bit better than others. But when you look at the things that we have to do just in this series better, we got to take care of the ball. We got to make it easier for Kai and Luka. So, being able to put those guys in different, spots on the floor so that they can, there's a little bit stress-free so that they can do what they do at a high level. We just didn't do that in game one. But it's really simple conversation when you talk about some of the things that we have to do, not just on the offensive end, but and Kai and Luka, take responsibility for that. But our conversations are really simple and to the point. When you talk about the high IQ, you don't have to, sit there and paint the picture. You just can get right to it, and they understand from my side what I'm asking them to do, and then when they respond, I understand what their responses are and what they're talking about and what they see. So it's worked at an extremely high level for when we do talk in game or on a day like today of what we're trying to get to, and those guys trust what I see or what I'm telling them, and I trust their response.
Third row on the right, Tim.
Jayson, Tim Kalishaw, Dallas Morning News. You said there's no panic. Kind of worked because they got it down to 8 pretty quickly. Did you think the team was being a little too either fearful or maybe even respectful of the, Celtics environment? You got young guys come out here and they see all the championship banners and everything going on. Why did you tell them to have fun?
Yeah, it's not about screaming or yelling. It's about
with Luka having the ball, getting pressured a little bit in the backcourt, taking some time off the clock, and then getting into your half-court offense. When you watch film with the team, was there anything you saw about maybe getting into the paint a little bit more to rotate some of their defense so you get maybe lobs or those corner threes? Is there any adjustments that you'll have for that?
Yeah, we'll make some adjustments, but Boston's going to give the layup to Luka, so he's got to take it. And so they're not going to give him the lob. And they're not going to give the corner three. And so it's 2-on-2, and so we have to take advantage of that. And we missed some layups. We missed some shots in the paint. That happens. But we believe that Kai and Luka will get into the paint and make them in game 2. But there's no different than what we saw in Minnesota. Just understanding that Boston is a really good defense, and being able to bluff or take away something, we trust that Luka and Kai will pivot and do what's best, and that's take the layup or take the easy 2 and continue to just wear out the paint and layups. But we got to make those too, because on the other end, if you don't make them and they come down and they make a couple threes, it puts a lot of pressure on your offense.
Melissa, last question in front.
Melissa Rowland, Fox Sports. What makes going against a guy like Jaylen so challenging?
Well, Jaylen's the best player, so just looking at what he does defensively, he picked up Luka full court. He got to the free throw line. He did everything, and that's what your best player does. Just understanding. He plays both sides, defense and offense, at a high rate, and he's been doing that the whole playoffs. I mean, when you talk about the Eastern Conference MVP, and it seems like he's continued to pick up where he left off, and so he's playing at a high rate. We just got to be a little bit more physical with him. And again, we got to keep him off the free throw line and out of the paint because, again, he was finishing at a high rate or he was getting fouled and getting to the free throw line.